everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Dori, I am a teacher of English, and today's video is the second part 2 of a video named IELTS Spelling the Alphabet, which was actually a request video, a question I received here on YouTube. So if you haven't checked this out, you may want to watch part 1 of this video first, and you can do it here in this link, or there is the link down below at the description box. So all in all, a very brief introduction. In IELTS listening part 1, some words are going to be spelled out for you letter by letter. This means that you have to be very familiar with the pronunciation of the English alphabet. And sometimes this is an issue not only for beginners but for advanced learners of English as well. So without further ado, let's move on from where we left off. And okay, let's begin. Letter N. I don't think there is any confusion with letter N. It is pronounced in the English alphabet as N. So if they're going to spell it out for you, it is going to be that way, N. The sound is the sound N. And for example, some words are night, never, nowhere, nothing, etc. Okay? Letter O. Letter O is spelled out as O. I already said that. The sound in the words, it actually changes a little bit according to the word you're going to find it in. In the majority of words, the sound is O. For example, in the prepositions on, for, of. In some words such as majority, according, description, comment, etc. It is also heard as O, as it is spelled out in the words go, so, no. Okay? In other words, it is heard as something between the sound A and the sound O. For example, in the words some, out, etc. Or in other words, it is heard as something between the sound E and the sound O, as for example in the word word. Okay? So you have to kind of be familiar with these kind of words and pronunciation in order for you to be correct at spelling. Okay? Also, be careful of the double O, because there is the word door and also there is the word to. So there are two ways you can pronounce that, and you have to actually know the words. But if they're going to spell out a word for you letter by letter, letter O is always heard as O. Alright, let's move on. Letter P. P is an easy one too. It is spelled out as P in the English alphabet, and this is how it is heard in all the words. In most of the words at least. Some words, for example, are possible, impossible, patience, patient, impatient, pause, important. You only need to be careful with words such as physics, physician, physiology, phobia, phenomenon. These words are heard as F, but you're not going to write down the letter F. You're going to write down PH. These are all Greek words. I don't know if that plays a role. I think it must play a role. But if you remember these kind of words, it is always PH, okay? You should also be very careful of the word psychology, because P is not heard at all, but it is written down. It is heard psychology, but you spell it as Psychology. This is another Greek word. So you have to know that these words are written down with PH and not with F, physics, etc. And the word psychology and psychologist and all this stuff is the letter P is written, although it is not heard. Alright? Okay, let's move on. Letter Q. Letter Q is easy. I don't think you'll ever have a problem with that. It is spelled out as Q, and some words, for example, are the words Q, quality, quest, queen, quotes. As you can see, it is usually followed by the letter U. Okay, I don't think you're ever going to have a problem with Q. Letter R, no problem with R either. It is spelled out as R in the English alphabet. Alright, some words, for example, are problem, right, respect, remember. The sound is the sound R, okay? The only thing you need to pay attention to here is when you find the letter R in the end of the word. For example, letter, better, R, there. It is not heard very much if you hear a British talking. It is lightly not heard. Letter. If you hear an American talking though, it might be something like letter, better. So you're probably going to hear that. But so pay attention to these words when you know that the letter R is in the end of the word. But if they're going to spell it out for you, letter by letter, it is going to be R. Okay? Letter S. S. So this is an easy one too. Letter S is always pronounced as S in the English alphabet and is the su sound in the word. Some words are, as an example, are spelling, speculate, stop. The only thing to remember here is that sometimes S is heard as Z in some words. Okay? For example, in the words easy, realism, in all the isms actually, it is heard as Z, but it is an S that we write down. Okay? Also be careful the opposite thing, because sometimes you may hear the S sound, but it is not an S, it is a C. For example, the word certain. Okay, we already covered that in part 1, but we might as well repeat it here. You need to distinguish these things in spelling. So actually, the more vocabulary you learn, the better. So let's move on to the next letter, letter T. Okay, T has a lot of variables, but in the English alphabet, if they're going to spell out a word for you, is going to be T. T, okay? It is actually the T sound in the word. Some examples of words are tremble, territory, terrifying, street, straight, but, etc, 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 okay? You can also hear it as the in the words there, this, there, though, and as th in the words thorough, thoroughly, thunder, etc. So you have to be careful of these things. Also, you have to be careful the words that end, all the words that end with tion, such as repetition, recognition, etc. You hear it as an S sound, but it is not. It is a T sound, okay? So you have to write it down as T. Moving on, letter U. Letter U is spelled out in the English alphabet as U, okay? However, it is very rarely heard that way in words. An example of that is the word usually. This is a word that you're going to hear you as you, usually. In most words, it is heard as the sound U, as in the words continue. There are some words where it is something between A, and U, as in the words utter, utterly. We very often meet O, the O letter, O with OU or U, in which cases it is usually heard as U or as O. Some examples are though, continues, etc. It kind of depends on the words. You tend to learn these things actually as you learn more words, more vocabulary every day, and by experience, as you learn the language as a whole a little bit better, okay? And you actually get to meet the same words and how they are heard or pronounced. So, letter V. No confusion here. Letter V is spelled out in the alphabet as V. The sound is V, okay? Some examples are vet, veterinarian, veteran, valuable. Okay, no problem here. There's no problem with the V. Okay, let's move on. Letter W. Letter W, it is spelled out as W, and you are never going to hear it as that in a word, okay? It is never heard as W in a word. It is only spelled out that way. In words, it is heard as the R sound. For example, way, wonder, what, words. Sometimes it is not heard at all, only slightly, as in the words how, right, however, etc. Okay? You just have to learn these things and be familiar with that. Letter X. It is spelled out as X in the alphabet. Very rarely, almost never, will you find it at the beginning of a word. For example, one word that you can find it at the beginning is the word, another Greek word actually, the word xenophobia. But other than that, you will, most of the time, you will usually find it in between other letters and not at the beginning of a word. Some words, for example, are the words example, extraordinary, exterminate, exterior, etc. The sound is x. Alright? Okay, let's move on to letter Y. Letter Y is spelled out as Y in the English alphabet. The sound is similar to y, something like that, as in the word your, yours, for example, okay? Other words are Yahoo, yawn, yellow, year, yard, etc. You get the picture, right? It is heard as Y, as it is spelled out in the English alphabet, in the word why, okay? And last but not least, letter Z. Letter Z is spelled out as Z in the English alphabet. The sound is Z, so there's no confusion here. Some words, as an example, are zoo, zebra, zeal, zero, zest, etc. Some words, also be careful that because some words use both Z and S. For example, the verbs organize, realize, they are both taken as correct. The one is used in American English and the other one in British English. Okay, that's the end of the alphabet. So for IELTS listening, part 1, you kind of need to be familiar with English alphabet, how it is pronounced, if they're going to spell out for you letter by letter a word, usually a name, a surname, an address, a telephone number, or something like that, okay? But all in all, spelling is really important in IELTS in general, both in listening and reading and writing, okay? So you have to be really good at spelling. And sometimes there are no rules, you just have to know how the words are written, and this is only learned by experience and by a lot of practice. Okay? Overall, the more vocabulary you know, the better. Okay, that's it for today. For more vocabulary, you can follow me on Twitter and Google+, and you can also like my Facebook page. I have added all 3 links down below, and each day and every day I post the word of the day with example. I hope I helped you and you learned something today. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with the exam.